Hello, dear Gemini. I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your April 2021 horoscope. And I do hope that the month of March found some sweetness for you, but also with Mars being in your sign right now, activated this desire to connect. And I hope that you have been able to. The sun is also in Aries right now. And on April 3rd, Mercury will join the sun in your 11th house. So most likely you've had a lot of activity in groups and organizations with friendships and connecting with others on a wider scale, if you will. Most likely when Mercury enters Aries for the next couple of weeks, you will be wanting to share your ideas and continue the energy that the sun in Aries is bringing. But this is about your independence, your individual sharing of ideas. And you want to kind of share it in your own way, whether they want to join you or not. This is a really an independent kind of feeling for you. You may also be connecting within a group and organization where you're asked to take on a leadership role, or you're asked to take on something that you may need to work on yourself and then bring it back to the group to present what you have done and maybe get their ideas. At the same time, frustration could show up when there's conflicts like with scheduling, or you're wanting meetings, or you're maybe wanting to socialize with your friends, but you've got all kinds of other distractions and obligations happening. This is also where you could receive opinions and ideas from others. You're wanting to collaborate, but they could be in conflict with yours. And that, of course, can incite a little bit of anger and frustration for yourself. The other way that this Mercury in Aries could affect you is that if a friend or somebody in the group that you really respect, or that you've had a friendship with, that they do create a conflictual situation, you may let it go. It may be one of those things where it creates such a conflict of the mind that you're like, I can't deal with this. And we have a new moon on April 11th. And yes, most of the time new moons are for starting new things, or at least setting the intentions. At the same time, there needs to be space for new things to drop in. So you may create that space by letting a friendship go. And at this new moon, creating some new friendships, maybe finding a new tribe. So if you've been on the hunt for where do I belong in the broader scale, in humanity and socially, where do I fit in? This new moon in Aries could provide you with the ability to find your tribe. It also can have this connotation where the feeling of family of choice versus family of origin pops in. And you may find that because you found your tribe, or this group, or this close knit friendships, that they feel more like family than maybe your own. Or if you have the blessing of a strong family dynamic, you merge the two and your family has just grown. And now your social calendar, it becomes really off the charts. Some of you may be looking at communal living. That's also a good indication of this new moon. So if you have been looking for ways in which you can get into a community, an intentional community, or that you, let's say, live in a city that is revitalizing a particular neighborhood, that maybe you're wanting to insert yourself there to be able to show some support, and you found, again, your tribe or some community. There's also an indication at this new moon that others are going to be looking for your support, and you're maybe wanting to have your independence. You may go, I can't really support anybody right now because I need to do my own thing, There's highs and lows can be experienced through others. So keep in mind too, this 11th house has a collective feel to it. So it is possible that you may be feeling, if, let's say, the group that you belong to, or you're tapping into the collective field, if it's struggling, you may feel like you're struggling. So again, empaths, please, when you're using that empathic muscle and it gets really active at a new and full moon, at this new moon, please make sure that you take time for yourself. That's the Aries energy. And check in and say, is this mine or somebody else's that I'm carrying around? Because if it's not mine, I need to let it go, and I need to find ways to go take care of me. This is a me type of energy. Also, it's a great new moon for you to pay attention to where you need to be more of an individual within a group or within a situation, maybe with friends, that you have given way too much of yourself. There could be a new desire that pops up where it's like, I'm going to start doing this thing my own way. Nurture that. That's the moon energy. April 14th and April 19th. I'm putting these somewhat together because Mercury is moving so fast through Aries that it will be in Taurus on the 19th. Well, Venus, our planet of love and relationships and finances and values, she's going to be moving into her home sign of Taurus on the 14th. So you're only going to have about 5 days before Venus and Mercury end up activating at the same time in your 12th house. So your 11th house is now really active up until the 14th with all this Aries energy, the sun and Venus and Mercury. And now after the 14th, Venus moves into your 12th and Mercury will follow in about 5 days. And this desire for peace and quiet time and alone time may really show up with Venus and Taurus in that 12th house. So Gemini, for somebody who loves to connect, this could be a time where you suddenly pull in, which is not a norm for you. However, it's only because if relationships that you value and that you really want to nurture and spend time with and have some fun with, because you are very youthful, you may decide to do it privately, behind the scenes. You may take your beloved, or maybe you decide you want to start a new relationship around this time and you do it very quietly. Maybe a friend set you up with that when Venus was in your 11th house. Maybe a friend said, hey, you should meet this person, this Gemini. And you and this other person got together, and maybe you're just kind of nurturing it and keeping it really quiet and private behind the scenes. It's a good placement here that some unconscious feelings could be stirred up in relationship. What a great way for us to have mirrors, right? Is relationship. However, as I'll say it's protected behind the scenes and maybe keeping really private, is that it could stir up some unconscious feelings around maybe your own sense of being valued in the relationship, or your own sense of values, or maybe not looking good enough or being good enough for the relationship. Maybe this person doesn't communicate as well as you like them to, and that could cause you to question a lot of things, especially when Mercury moves into Taurus. You could spend a lot of time on building the new relationship, but also overthinking it, because you could get really obsessed or stubborn, if you will, on a particular idea about the relationship, or why they're doing this or why they're not doing that. And because you're working through your own sense of worth and your own sense of values. The other thing with Venus and Mercury here in your 12th house is, especially with Venus, is it's a beautiful placement for attracting spiritual teachers, people that can support you, being a listening ear, maybe a shoulder to cry on for you, to bring comfort and compassion, or the opposite, where you become that person for another. You may also be drawn to the spiritual or healing art. So if you are currently working in that industry, this is a time where you could spend time working with others through maybe an institution, or you're working with others through a organization that also works in the spiritual community. And Mercury here in Taurus could have you maybe teaching within that group or that institution. You may be feeling a little bit more introspective and thoughtful during this time. So between April 14th and I would say probably until the end of April, you may be feeling a bit more pulled in, introspective, really wanting to sit with your thoughts and trying to understand what's really happening for you. The other thing that you may want to do is that you may decide you want to do a little bit of research and just dive into some subject matters that deal with the subconscious mind, with dreaming. Maybe there's something around an institution and learning more about that. When I say institution, it could be prison. We're dealing with 12th house. So maybe you work with inmates, or maybe you work with guards. Maybe you work with a monastery. I mean, it could go many different ways when we're looking at it from an institutional standpoint. It also could leave you very, very sensitive. So please keep that in mind. Your thoughts, your ideas could be easily influenced by the opinions of others, which is another reason why you may feel really pulled in the second half of April. It's a great time for meditation, contemplation, maybe just allowing your thoughts, especially with it being in Taurus here, allowing your thoughts to just build ideas about who you are as a spiritual being having a human experience. And then you can offer that as a love and support and compassion for others, especially as the sun moves into your 12th house, and it will energize that and activate it. It can be a placement here where you finally are able to say, this is how I can be of great service to others. Your psychic ability is going to be highly active, especially the second half of April. So if you are somebody who wants to give advice, who enjoys giving advice, or you are able to tap into the higher realms and channel it, and you will draw people to you naturally who need it, who want it. And if this is another way of being of service, use it. Also, please trust your intuition. Please trust these psychic hits that you get. It's a great time for you to take some action to better your life and to do it based on what your intuition is telling you versus what everybody else is telling you. Now, on the 23rd, so here we are, still second half of April, 23rd of April, Mars moves into Cancer. And this could make you very protective. Now, this is going to be in your second house. So what are you protective over? Your personal possessions, your income source, maybe standing up for those who are threatened at losing their possessions or their income. So it's possible you could find yourself on a picket line, or you could find yourself advocating for somebody that you work with, that it's relational to your income, or maybe you become an advocate for somebody who is losing their income, maybe because of COVID, or maybe because there's an unfair situation at their job, and you're like, I know how to deal with that because this is how I can do it. I can be the voice for them. Mars in the second house also indicates that you can have a very lucrative career and activities that are physical. So if you have been thinking about getting into, let's say, personal training, or you've been thinking about getting into the military or law enforcement or fighting, like UFC fighting, MMA, that sort of thing, this could be a lucrative time for you to start something like that. Or maybe you're a promoter. So this is another way that you could use it, that you may promote others who are doing these kinds of professions. It's also making you very smart. So in business and finance and money, that sort of thing. So if you're looking at investing so you can increase your income, if you're looking at getting into the financial industry, maybe doing some business acquisitions, buying property, things like that, this is a great placement and time for that, especially dealing with home, because Cancer is about home. And you understand how money works, so this can help you maximize profits. So have those conversations with others that you can really gather and use as a way of building your nest. Now, do be careful that you don't take too many risks with money, and that can get in your way. So this is not really a strong placement for taking major risk. If it was in your fifth house, then I would say, watch out. But this is, I've sensed that with Mars sitting here, that you're going to be really smart about it. Again, remember that your intuition is going to be active. Trust that. So if something seems to be drawing you that direction to spend your money or to gather those resources, go for it. Now, the other thing that you may get bump up against is you could get frustrated that you're not able to get the income or the possession that you want. And so when that happens, obviously we can all respond or react in a different way, but just notice that there could be some frustrations around that as well. Leading into a full moon in Scorpio on April 26th, 27th in your sixth house, a further emphasis on service. Now, this is not indentured servants. This is being of service. And this is a way of being able to offer your gifts to others and to really allow yourself an opportunity to be so emotionally bonded with the work that you do on a daily basis that if anything is holding you back from being able to be of greater service, you'll let it go. This full moon in Scorpio is about transformation and change. It's about surrender. It's also about building really deep, strong emotional bonds. And so it could find you completing a health or fitness goal. It could also, if you've been dealing with health issues, because we're dealing with sixth house, that you could find some resolution during this full moon time, or securing a health professional that can help you get to a deeper level of healing. This is also where you could find yourself really bonded to your work, your routine. I would say that your routine will serve you. If there's something, maybe you're willy-nilly and you're all over the place because you are a Gemini and you need to implement a routine, this is a way of doing it. And you'll do it based on, am I emotionally invested in this? Is this going to give me the security and the depth that I deserve and that I need? The other thing you may find yourself emotionally bonded to is coworkers. At the same time, because it is a full moon, there could be some revelations that show up from your coworkers. Maybe somebody's putting their notice in and you didn't see it coming. Or maybe you're having to let somebody go because you're the boss and it just doesn't, because it doesn't serve anymore and they've betrayed you. That is the shadow side of Scorpio, is betrayal. Is also BS, so you may find, since it is a full moon, there's revelation. You may find out secrets. That's what I mean by the BS, is that maybe there's been some secrets or things going on behind the scenes that you finally become privy to that you have to respond to. The other thing is that you may complete a lot of your projects and to-do lists that you've had some real emotional investment, or maybe they've taken up a lot of mental, emotional space that you are just like, I need to get rid of this, and you finally do. It's possible you may be the one leaving your work, cutting ties with a health professional, cutting ties with your daily job. But remember, this is about transformation and deep healing. So you can know that letting go of something opens the door that says, what's possible now? The other thing that you may look at is, of course, relationship. So if there is a relationship that you've been really wondering what is going on, this could be a great time to reveal the truth, to reveal the motivation behind the connection, to reveal the motivation behind why you two should stay together or how you can deepen the relationship. Scorpio also is very much about passion. So this could also bring you two together in a way that is deep and meaningful. There's sex here. It's not just about the sex, it's really about the bonding. So however you choose to do it. It is possible that maybe you are working with a health professional because of your reproductive system. You've been trying to get pregnant. This could be a time where you find that fertility specialist and you get on a plan, or you decide you're going to engage in the fertility process. It's also possible that you could become obsessive about your own self-improvement and reveal to other deeper desires and things like that about why you are doing what you're doing and why you want what you want. And I think the one thing that could challenge you at this full moon is that I'm trying to improve myself, and you get so obsessed over it that you don't really think of anything else, and people don't know how to relate to you. And so that may be something that you have to just pay attention to and surrender and say, okay, I can't control this and I can't control, everything. So what can I surrender to? What can I just let go of and just enjoy? I think that's the other thing. Now, if you are looking, I'm going to point us back to relationship because that's always something that people are asking about and wanting. This Scorpio full moon should have a lot of truth and authenticity showing up in relationship. And most likely there will be a subject matter or there will be clarity that comes in about the nature in the relationship that you are engaging in. Could be personal or professional, but either way, clarity should be showing up leading up to this full moon or right after. All right, Gemini, I want to hear how this goes. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and find me at jamiedawn.com. I'm looking forward to seeing how April is for you.